Hi, welcome to the podcast, Ease into Clarity. I'm Dr. Divi, family doctor turned intuitive coach, and I'm here to help you. In this podcast, we will learn mental techniques, emotional techniques, and spiritual techniques to change daily problems. So maybe it's your husband, your boss, your coworker, your kids, they're driving you crazy. You can email me any of your questions and I will use all the techniques I've learned over the years and help you. Grab your hot chocolate and make sure to subscribe. We'll see you soon. Ciao. Hi, I'm Dr. Divi, host of podcast Ease into Clarity, and thank you for joining me. So today's topic is all about judgment. Big topic, right? Judgment and separation and how to heal it. And that's what we're going to talk about. And a couple really easy steps. So first thing I want you to recognize is that judgment is inherent in our culture, in the ego thinking, and something that separates all of us from each other. But the biggest thing judgment does is it separates us from ourselves. To the truth of our nature, to the reality of our being, spirit and love is our truth. I often call it the divine I am, the consciousness of infinite love is who I am. And judgment is a form that the ego has taken on to create separation. So we just need to know we do that. So before I keep going, I want you to do a quick mental scan in your mind. Who in your life do you find yourself judging? Where in your life do you find you're judging? And before you do other people, just do yourself. How often do you judge yourself for your weight? How often do you judge yourself for your bank account? How often do you judge yourself for your home, your not home, your job, your not job, how you parent your kids, and so on? Just look at the judgment you do to yourself and just take a few seconds with that. The more you do that, the more you realize how much the brain is deeply trained into the right and wrong. And when we are trained in the right and wrong, what happens is we're actually creating walls up. And what I'd love you to be open to is spirit does not think that way. The I am consciousness of love does not think in the way of right and wrong, good and bad. Everything is just an is. The first 1 and 2 days of A Course in Miracles talk about how everything has no inherent meaning. So this teacup has no meaning other than what I give to it. This microphone has no meaning other than what I give to it. I put meaning on everything, and that is my state of perception. And by doing that over and over again, that creates projections, which I'll get into in just a second. But when I perceive something and put a label on it, I'm actually blocking spirit. Spirit doesn't look at my microphone as right or wrong, does not look at my cup as right or wrong. But if you ever saw my home, I have a lot of inherent meaning I put on the pictures on the wall. And I'm going to show you what I mean in just a second. I put a lot of meaning of, oh, that picture represents love and beauty and ease and wonderfulness. And my 18-year-old son, who I adore, doesn't necessarily have those same perceptions about his pictures from childhood. He's like, oh, that was my nerd phase, or oh, that was that phase. And so his perceptions are completely different. So there's no one perception to everything, though the ego thinks there is, and then that creates walls up. So one big training in order to work through judgment is just to recognize you do it and see how much you do for yourself and everything around you. If you just walked around today and went, wow, I am putting all that label and that meaning where meaning does not exist. Spirit does not see my pictures as right or wrong, but it feeds my ego to think it's right. It's kind of funny, right? The spirit just looks at it as love. But then as soon as I look at that as right, and that I got to see that as wrong versus just love. Now that we've looked at the perceptions we do for ourselves, the second thing we're going to look at is the perceptions we do for others. What we do to ourselves is why we judge other people. It's really simple. People ask me all the time, how can I not judge my partner? Because I know inherently it's creating havoc and creating separation in our marriage. I know inherently it's not healthy for my marriage. I know inherently it's why we're getting divorced, and I don't want to do this anymore. Judgment is one of the biggest walls we create between us and others. How do we break that? The first step is to go back to what we just talked about. Everything you do to yourself is what you're doing to them. And that in itself creates havoc. The next thing is to see that that judgment is then creating the wall. So when I judge them for putting the toothpaste lid on, if I'm judging them for doing this or that, you're literally creating separation. So in a minute, I'm going to take you into meditation to give this up to spirit, but just become aware of it, because it's a way that the ego protects itself by not wanting you to see what you think about yourself by putting it onto others. And what I've discovered over years of doing this work is that judgment, that projection, those labels we do actually stops us from manifesting the life we want, because we're blocking the energy from coming in, because we're labeling it right, wrong, good, bad, ugly, which is not freedom and ease and love and connection and joy. And that is our true nature, is love and peace and ease and joy and freedom and connection. So as you just play with that idea, again, step one, look at where you judge yourself. Step two, look at how you judge other people. Those are going to be the two most important steps before I take you into the meditation. So go ahead and close your eyes. If you're driving, you'll do this later. You can drive and do this with your eyes open and just have that as in your mind's eye. With your eyes closed, take a few slow, deep breaths in and out, so that your belly can rise and fall with tremendous ease. Inhale and exhale. Belly rises and belly falls. With your eyes closed, let the breath enter and exit, so your body and breath can become one. Breathing in slow breath. Breathing out long breath. Bringing it in deep breath. Breathing out fluid breath. Just inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. Get yourself into more of a parasympathetic nervous system, and just notice that you're doing it. Notice that this is part of the ego, of fight or flight, that's trying to keep you safe. And just be aware of it. Just see it as a childhood trauma or wound or a story that you took on. And the more you believe this, the more you're safe. So just see it and breathe. And perhaps as you look at it, notice or become aware that it's not serving you. It's actually creating more pain than peace. It's actually creating more problems than ease. It's actually creating more havoc than flow. And just breathe. In this next part of the meditation, we're going to ask for some help from our higher self, the Divine Mother, the intermediary between us, and if you want to call it God or the universe. I want you to just walk over to the altar where that energy sits and just breathe. And imagine you're putting on the altar this idea of right versus wrong. You're putting on this idea of good versus bad. And all you do is put it there and say, Holy Spirit, allow forgiveness to set me free. Holy Spirit, allow the forgiveness to set me and everyone free. Forgiveness set me and everyone free. And just repeat that 5 or 10 times to yourself. Holy Spirit, let forgiveness set me and everyone free. So you can see, imagine, sense, or feel this being released from you. This idea of right and wrong, good and bad. Just letting it go. And as you see it being lifted from you, can you let in peace? Can you let in freedom? Can you let in flow? And the more you step here, the more you notice the I am stepping in. Go to the I am, the witness consciousness. There you go. The part of you that is not that thought of right or wrong. The observer. And now step into the observer of the observer and just breathe. Spend 5 or 10 more minutes here. And the more often you do this, stepping into the observer and forgiving the attachment of right or wrong, the more you free yourself up from the pain that has you encircled. Hope you get a chance to enjoy this in deeper meditation later. Freeing yourself from judgment, separation, right and wrong, good and bad. big one. Because remember, Spirit has 7 spiritual solutions for every problem. But in order to be open to them, we have to release the right and wrong. Hope you have a chance to enjoy this. We're sending you lots of love. Namaste from Dr. Divi at Ease into Clarity. Thank you so much for joining me in this podcast, Ease into Clarity. It is such a joy, pleasure, and honor to be in your living room. What I would love is if you follow me on Instagram, DRDIVI, or go to my website, drdivi.com, or write a review. That would be even more amazing. Thank you. If you really enjoyed this podcast, feel free to share it with friends, family. Tell them to follow me, because I think the more of us that listen to the fact that each of us can start to shift, each of us can shift mental things, emotional things, spiritual shift, to shift our daily reality. When more and more of us do it, we get a better planet. We get more love. We get more happiness. We get more joy. So I'd love it if you followed. I'd love it if you shared this, because it would be such a joy and an honor. And again, if you have a question, guess what? I'm here for you. So send me an email, easeintoclarity@gmail.com. And as they come in, I will answer them in podcasts that are subsequent, whether it be your boss, your relationship, your husband, whatever. That's what I'm here for. Because the more of us that learn really simple mental techniques, really simple spiritual techniques, we change the physical reality we live in. Pretty soon, we have more peace, more ease, more joy, trickling across the whole world. Remember, there's a spiritual solution for every problem. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.